Welcome back, everybody. It is the next morning, and we find Ratty, Badger and Mole in the courtroom awaiting Toad's trial. Also among the crowd are some of the Weasel gang.
Oh, poor Toad! Poor old Toad!
Arrested for the theft of a motor car.
And for antisocial behaviour.
Whatever will become of him, Badger?
Well, whatever it is, we must be strong and support our dear friend through this time of trouble.
But what if they sent him to jail?
Well, jail isn't so bad, you know. I've been to jail and it hasn't done me any harm.
Me too. I've been banged up several times. It's no big deal.
Yeah, all my family has been in chokey at some time in the past.
Yeah, mine too. My little brother was born on probation and he turned out all right.
But I don't think jail will suit the famous Mr. Toad.
No, I don't think they serve champagne in prison.
Look out. Here he comes now.
Make way, dangerous criminal coming through.
I say, Constable, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
We'll see about that when you go up in front of the judge.
But where are they taking him now?
There's a nice cosy cell waiting for him in the cellar of the court.
Oh, no.
Don't cheer up, old friends. Justice will prevail.
If you say so, Mr. Toad. Now come along, there's a good gentleman.
Farewell, my friends. Farewell.
Slowly the courtroom filled with many of Wildwood residents, all eager to know what will happen to Toad. The jury take their seats, none of whom look particularly friendly, except for the old washerwoman, who's sure to be on Toad's side.
Here, shove over. I want an end seat.
Silence in court! Silence in court! All rise for Her Honour, Justice Flogham.
Be seated. Clerk, read out the charges.
Your Honour, Mr. Toad of Toad Hall, Toadchester, you are charged with the following. 1. Terrorising otters, fish, ducks and swans by driving your speedboat at reckless speeds alongside the riverbank. 2. Speeding on your motorbike through gardens, wrecking all before you, including knocking fences down. 3. Owning a delinquent horse that stole carrots, ate washing off the line and was involved as a getaway horse in a robbery. And 4. Driving a stolen Rolls-Royce in a cavalier and reckless manner and causing mayhem.
How do you plead, Mr. Toad?
Well, of course not guilty. I say, can't a chap have some fun without these miserable killjoys interfering?
Silence! I will not tolerate such insolence. Do we have a counsel for the defence?
That's me, Your Honour. I don't need some overeducated toff representing me. What with my knowledge and skill.
Very well, Toad. Call your first witness.
I would like to call Miss Jane.
Call Miss Jane. Call Miss Jane.
Miss Jane, would you confirm you're in my employ?
Oh, yes, Mr. Toad.
And how long have you known me?
Not long enough, sir.
Would you describe me as an irresponsible person?
Oh, yes, sir, but you're so handsome with it.
Quite. But have I given you any cause to feel aggrieved about my behaviour?
Only that I wish you would give me more attention. You are such a noble, swashbuckling and masterful employer.
That should shut up the prosecution, eh? No further questions.
Over to you, prosecutor.
But the so-called prosecutor was really Chief Weasel in disguise.
Miss Jane, would you say you are in love with Mr. Toad?
Oh, yes. How could I not be?
And would you do anything to help him?
Oh, yes, anything.
Objection, Your Honour. I would ask this lady's testament is disregarded in the light of her clear infatuation with the accused and a total inability to provide any objective evidence to the accused's character.
Accepted. Strike her comments from the record. Toad?
I would like to call my second witness, Ratty.
Call Ratty. Call Ratty.
Ratty. You and I go a long way back. Haven't we had some fun together?
Objection! This is completely irrelevant.
Come to the point, Toad.
Ratty, have I not always acted with the best interests of my friends? What about the parties we've had at Toad Hall? And then there was the incident with the helicopter in the duck pond. Wouldn't you agree that these are just jolly japes and hijinks, hardly the behaviour of a common criminal?
Yes, I suppose you're right, Toad, although it did feel a bit like you were sailing close to the wind.
Sailing close to the wind? More like a man full of wind, Your Honour. Your Honour, I'd like to call my first witness. Mr. P.C. Plod.
Call P.C. Plod. Call P.C. Plod.
You are P.C. Plod of Towchester Police Station?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct that you and your colleagues have had cause to apprehend the accused on each of the charges?
Yes, sir. Mr. Toad has a flagrant disregard of the law and is a persistent offender, preventing ordinary law-abiding citizens from peaceably going about their daily business. Indeed, we have been watching him for some time.
Is it the case that he once had to be winched out of a prohibited underground cave in Salatin?
Oh, yes, sir. You could say it was a clear case of Toad in the hole.
And is it correct he once made an aggressive gesture to a pedestrian whilst driving the stolen Rolls Royce?
Yes, sir. A classic case of Toad rage.
You are surely not going to believe this half-wit copper?
Silence, Toad. I will not warn you again.
I would like to call my second witness. A Miss Redtail.
Call Miss Redtail. Call Miss Redtail.
But this witness was not Miss Redtail, but Sid from the Weasel Gang in disguise.
Miss Redtail, do you recognise the accused?
I do, Your Honour. This man sweet-talked me and got me into trouble, and then abandoned me in my time of need.
You are surely not going to believe this tissue of lies.
I warned you, Toad. You will not be allowed any further questions.
Your Honour, surely we have seen enough to bring the proceedings to a conclusion.
Very well. You may present your summary to the jury. First, the prosecution.
Members of the jury, I can see that you are a fine, upstanding bunch of citizens.
I certainly am.
Today, we have heard the testimony of P.C. Plod, who has reported a catalogue of acts by the accused. Antisocial behaviour, criminal damage, driving vehicles and horses without care and attention, and likely to cause serious injury to whoever was in his path. On top of that, we have stealing a motor vehicle and being linked to a robbery involving an horse. To cap it all, we have the testimony of poor Miss Redtail with child, the victim of a charmer and a philanderer. In the face of overwhelming evidence against him, the accused pleads not guilty, thereby wasting everybody's time and indeed public money. It is my view that you have no choice but to find the accused guilty on all charges, and if it were my decision, I'd have him locked up and I'd throw away the key.
May I remind you, counsel, it is very definitely not your decision. Mr. Toad, would you like to address the jury?
I say, you chaps, I trust you've chosen not to pay too much attention to that nasty weasel-worded prosecuting Waller, who's clearly out to get me. Look at me. Do I look like a villain? Yes, I know there was that incident with the vicar and the stick of rhubarb, and of course, you probably got to know about the bull I accidentally let loose into the field at the Oswestry show, but hey, This was several years ago, and you know, it was such a hoot. Well, you heard Miss Jane. She thinks I'm a real dude, and if I was that bad, would my friends Ratty, Badger and Mole have stuck by me all this time? Now, if you should do the right thing and find me not guilty, I will throw a big party for you back at Toad Hall.
Jury, you have listened to the evidence. I would like you now to take a few moments to consider your verdict. All we need is a majority decision, and when you're ready, you may announce your decision to the court.
Members of the jury, have you reached your verdict? Hands up, who thinks Mr. Toad is guilty?
At this point, nearly all the hands of the jury were raised.
And those who think he is not guilty?
Sadly, only the old washerwoman raised her hand.
The jury finds Mr. Toad well and truly guilty. Order! Order! Please be quiet whilst Judge Flogham delivers the sentence.
Mr. Toad, it is quite clear you are from a privileged background. Indeed, I knew your father from playing croquet. Your father was a fine and upstanding Toad, but you, Mr. Toad, have besmirched his good name and have acted in a thoroughly cavalier and irresponsible manner in committing numerous crimes and misdemeanours. With all your privileges and advantages, you should know better. For that reason, you give me no choice but to sentence you to the maximum punishment of 20 years imprisonment. Jailer, take him down.
This is outrageous. Let me go. I am innocent. You have been tricked with weasel words. Don't you know who I am?
Oh, yes, I certainly do.
Clerk of the court.
Yes, Your Honour.
Are there any more miserable criminals to deal with today? Anyone who deserves to be hung, drawn and quartered, for instance?
No, Your Honour. That is all for today.
Oh, good. Court dismissed.
All rise. The judge is leaving. All rise.
20 years, poor old Toad.
Toad will hate being in prison. He's such a free spirit.
Yes, well, that's the last of his madcap schemes, for 20 years at least.
Perhaps we can visit him.
Oh, we could smuggle in a bottle of Toad's favourite champagne.
Yes, that would cheer him up.
It will take more than a bottle of champagne to cheer up Toad. I'm afraid he faces 20 years of misery, but we must do our best. Let's find the jailer and fix up a visit.
The three friends left in a very sombre mood. Meanwhile, down in the prison cells...
Well, here's your cell, Toad. This is what you must call home for the next 20 years. What do you think of it?
Well, it's rather bare at the moment, but it may not be so bad once the carpet is fitted and the furniture delivered.
Carpet and furniture, eh? I'll get onto it straight away.
Good man. And remember my motto, only the best for Mr. Toad. I say, there doesn't appear to be a drinks cabinet in here, nor, indeed, anyone to serve the drinks. Well, the cocktail hour fast approaches.
Oh dear, what a mistake. I'll speak to the governor. I'm sure he'll know what to do. But in the meantime, make room for your cellmates. Bring 'em in, lads.
To Toad's great surprise, Sid from the Weasel Gang and his adorable friend Jane were ushered into the cell.
Right, you lot, make yourselves as comfortable as you can. Dry bread and water for breakfast. Good night, all.
This is terrible. How can they treat the famous Mr. Toad so badly?
Don't worry about it, mate. They treat everybody badly in here.
You sound like you know what goes on around here.
Yeah, mate. I'm in and out of jail all the time. Occupational hazard when you're a weasel, you know.
They gave me 20 years. How long did you get?
Dunno, mate. I didn't listen. Doesn't matter anyway. Chief Weasel will get me out tomorrow. She'll bribe the judge.
Bribe the judge? What a splendid idea. Do you think she could bribe the judge on my behalf?
No way, mate. Chief Weasel wants you safely locked up in jail.
Oh, don't be sad, Mr. Toad. I'm here to keep you company.
Jane, what are you doing in prison? I didn't have you down as a criminal.
Well, I told the judge that she had made a mistake, that you were the finest Toad that ever lived, and that she was a silly old fool to send you to jail.
Quite right. And what did the judge say?
She sent me to prison for contempt of court until I apologise.
My dear, you have nothing to apologise for. What you said about me being the finest toad that ever lived is nothing but the truth. We're going to need some sort of escape plan.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Toad. I'm sure you'll think of something.
Just at that moment, the jailer once more unlocked the door.
All right, Sid, you can go. The judge has issued a pardon.
What a surprise! See you, suckers!
And, you, Jane, you have a visitor.
Oh, me poor daughter! Whatever will become of you? How will you survive in this cold?
I'm fine, Mother. Mr. Toad is here, so I'm in very good hands.
So she is. Now, jailer, what about me? Do I have any visitors?
No visitors for you, Toad. Judge's orders. You got 10 minutes, washerwoman.
Mother, we must help Mr. Toad. Such a wonderful toad cannot be allowed to stay in this cell for 20 long years.
Well, I'd like to help, but I don't see how I can. I've only got 10 minutes and then I'll have to walk out of here.
Wait a minute, washerwoman. What if it was me who walked out instead?
But don't you think they'd notice? You don't look anything like me.
Oh, I get it, Mr. Toad. You could dress up in Mother's clothes, and then the jailer would think that you were her and let you out.
Brilliant! Why didn't I think of that?
Oh, I thought you had. So what about it, Mother? Don't you think that's a good idea?
No, it's a terrible idea. It means I would have to take my clothes off in company.
Well, that's not so terrible.
But I've only ever taken my clothes off in company once before, and that was 16 years ago.
Oh, I'm 16, Mother.
Yes, I know. Oh, it was only the once.
Please, madam, this is my last chance of freedom. I promise I won't look, and you can wear my clothes to keep you decent.
Oh, very well then. Here goes nothing.
The washerwoman removed all her garments, including an enormous skirt, 3 blouses and 4 pairs of bloomers. Mr. Toad was out of his clothes in a flash.
Pass me those clothes. We haven't a moment to lose.
They both put on each other's clothes. What a sight they both looked.
Now, Jane, how do I look? I think these clothes rather suit me.
Oh, they do, Mr. Toad, they do. You'd look good in anything, in my eyes at least.
I have always been a master of disguise. No one could ever tell it was me, could they? Quiet. Someone is coming.
All right, washerwoman. Time is up. Let's be having you.
Whatever you say, big boy.
Oh, I say, washerwoman, I didn't realise you were such an attractive lady.
Oh, you are awful. Now, take me away from all of this.
My pleasure, madam. Lead the way.
Oh, you saucy devil. Stop pinching my bottom.
We did it, Mother. Mr. Toad is free.
But what about us?
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll apologise to the judge and they'll let me go. We'll say that Mr. Toad overpowered you. I'm sure they'll believe us. But now let's try and get some sleep. We can dream of the wind in the willows along the riverbank.
Mother and daughter lay down on the hard bed and tried to sleep. Meanwhile, back at the riverbank, a small crowd had gathered.
Evening all. I'm here to tell you that a dangerous criminal is on the run. The police have issued a warning to all residents of the riverbank to avoid all contact with this villain who goes by the name of the famous Mr. Toad. He's a master of disguise and was last seen wearing women's clothing. Anyone spotting the Toad should inform me or another member of the constabulary as soon as possible. There is no need to panic. The police have the matter firmly under control. There is no way that Mr. Toad could give us the slip. We'll soon have him back behind bars. Take care now.
You can come out now, Mr. Toad.
Yes, PC plot is gone. The coast is clear.
Oh, thank heavens. I thought he had me there. Oh, but now, my friends, Toad is a free man.
We are very pleased that you have come back, Mr. Toad.
Yes, we need your help against the weasels.
The weasels? Are they causing trouble again?
Yes, look what they did to us. They hurt my finger.
Oh, you poor creatures. But never fear, Toad is here. And look, here come my 3 dearest friends.
Toad, there you are. It's so good to see you.
We heard you'd escaped. Oh, you're so clever.
Yes, I am rather. And a master of disguise, as you can see.
You look ridiculous. Come back to my set and we'll get you cleaned up.
That's very kind, old man. But if you don't mind, I'll pop back to Toad Hall.
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Toad.
Not possible? But what would stop the famous Toad from returning to the stately home of his ancestors?
The weasels.
The weasels? What on earth do you mean?
Well, Toad, prepare yourself for some bad news. The weasels have taken over Toad Hall.
What?
They've smashed all the windows.
And broken down all the doors.
And they have noisy parties every night.
And swing from the chandeliers.
And they're chopping up all the antique furniture and burning it on the fire.
Oh, not my precious antiques!
I'm afraid so, Toad. The situation looks very grim.
Law and order has broken down, and those wicked weasels are bullying the riverbank creatures.
Yes. Look at poor Sam's finger.
We've been freed.
Yes, the widow washerwoman is free.
You're a widow?
Yes, I'm a widow. 16 times. Yes, I've had 16 husbands, just like it says in the marriage service. 4 richer, 4 poorer, 4 better, and 4 worse. Oh, but Mr. Toad, have you seen what those weasels are doing to my nice clean Toad Hall? I'll never get it clean again.
Never fear, Toad is here! Friends, neighbours, creatures of the riverbank, lend me your ears. I stand before you not as a mere toad, but as the famous Mr. Toad of Toad Hall. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, can stand in my way. Today we march on Toad Hall and free it from the enemy. Today we free the riverbank from the oppression of the weasel hordes. Take arms, my friends, and follow me! Follow me, my friends. Victory is at hand. But let me tell you, the struggle will be hard. We will fight them on the doorstep. We shall fight them in the drawing room. We shall fight them on the dining tables. We shall never surrender. My friends, Toadshire expects that every creature shall do its duty. Follow me to victory!
Come on then, Toad. Let's get going.
But I haven't finished my historic speech. Never in the field of amphibian conflict have so many owed so much to one brave toad. Once more into the breach, dear friends. We'll fight and we'll conquer again and again.
Come on, Toad. Let's get going.
The time approaches, my friends. Cometh the hour. Cometh the toad. Victory shall be ours.
We're going, Toad.
I say, you fellows, wait for me. Oh, can't a chap be allowed to finish his speech? Wait for me. We shall fight them on the doorstep. We shall fight them in the drawing room. We shall fight them on the dining tables. We shall never surrender.
So Toad and his riverbank friends set off for Toad Hall, where we find the weasels have overrun and ruined the place.
Come on, you lot. Let's get this place sorted out. We weasels have taken over Toad Hall. Oh, isn't that good news, eh? Oh, yes it is.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Oh, yes it is.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Well, anyway, I, Chief Weasel, am in charge of the riverbank now. From now on, we will do things my way, the Weasel way. So you'd all better watch out, 'cause if we ever get fed up living in Toad Hall, we might come and invade your houses. Oh, yes, we will.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, yes, we will.
Oh, no, you won't.
Come on, Sid, get a move on. I want everything in its place, 'cause tonight is party night. Yes! We weasels know how to party. We are party animals. We're going to boogie all night long and never mind the neighbours. Now, is everything ready? Has the judge arrived? This party is her reward for throwing Toad into jail.
Yes, I'm here and ready to do justice to this party.
Good. Well, let's get going. Everything in place? Lights?
Check.
Music?
Check.
Everybody feeling good?
Check.
Right, let's get this party started.
As the merry band of weasels danced away, they were oblivious to the fact that Toad's friends had sneaked in behind them. One by one, the weasels were captured and taken away until only Chief Weasel was left.
Hey, who switched off the music?
That would be us.
Who are you and what are you doing in my house?
I think you'll find that Toad Hall belongs to Mr. Toad. The clue is in the name.
But Toad is in jail. We made sure of that.
Not anymore. He's escaped.
And he's right here.
And he wants his house back.
And we've got it back for him.
All right, Toad, you can come out now. The battle's over.
Ah, yes, splendid. Well done, chaps. I was just checking that there was no more weasels hiding in the undergrowth. No one escapes the wrath of Toad, don't you know?
Quite so. Now, what do you want to do with this wretched weasel?
Well, she deserves to be locked up in my old prison cell. And that corrupt judge as well. You know, I have always believed the law must never be flouted. But first, just look at this mess.
All the floors are filthy.
All the windows are smashed.
All the antique furniture has been chopped up and burned.
And the oil paintings of my illustrious ancestors. Someone has drawn moustaches and spectacles on them.
I think it improves them.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. But will we ever put things right again? Will Toad Hall ever be restored to its former glory?
Ah, of course it will. Don't be downhearted. We won the war, and now we are jolly well going to win the peace. We'll all work together and put things right, won't we, friends?
Yes!
Oh, of course we will. It just takes a bit of hard work. And no one can say that Toad is afraid of hard work. Now gather round, friends. I have some announcements to make. PC Plod, jailer, bring in the prisoners. First, we will deal with Justice Flogham. Judge, you have behaved very badly, breaking the law and all that. But there again, who hasn't done that from time to time? But what you truly deserve to be punished for is preferring Chief Weasel's evidence in your courtroom to my own. An honest judge would have known at once that I, Toad, am an absolute master at making things up. And therefore I should have won. You will be locked in my prison cell for the weekend, and when you come out, I hope you will be a better judge of character.
Oh, yes, Toad. I promise to improve and be a better judge. But I can't promise to stop hanging people for trivial offences. That would be too much to ask.
Ah, well, we can't all be perfect. Now bring forward Chief Weasel. Chief Weasel, you have committed the gravest offence imaginable.
What was that then?
You drew a moustache and spectacles on the oil painting of my great-aunt, Antodia.
That wasn't me. That was Sid.
Nevertheless, I have found a place for you at the Wicked Weasel House of Correction.
And what about the rest of this gang of miscreants? What shall we do with them?
I'm putting them in your capable hands, Badger.
Yeah, what? And what, may I ask, am I supposed to do with them?
Put them to work restoring Toad Hall. They can mend the windows and replace the doors and 101 other tasks. And when they have finished, I want you to keep an eye on them and make sure they stop behaving like weasels.
But they are weasels.
Ah, yes, I see your point. But do your best anyway.
Well, that's dealt with the baddies, but there are some questions we would like to put to you, Toad.
Go ahead, ask me any question. I am a mine of information.
Well, first, we'd like to ask, when are you going to stop behaving irresponsibly?
And when will you stop giving your friends sleepless nights with your madcap schemes?
And when will I stop having to chase you around the countryside on some escapade or other?
Oh, Toad is no longer irresponsible. My friends, you are looking at the new, responsible Toad.
Does that mean that we creatures of the riverbank will be able to live our lives in peace?
You want to live peaceful lives? Sounds a bit slow to me. But if that's what you want, my friends, that is what you shall have. In fact, I've just invented a new saying. We shall all live happily ever after.
Well, things seem to have turned out well from all concerned. But before we finish, I must perform the last of my constabulary duties. It's time for a little song, and as good law-abiding citizens, I expect you all to join in.
Oh yes, come along, all join in, because you know you've always got a friend in me.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. For you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me.
Thank you for listening to Toad of Toad Hall. Original script by Brian Smith. Cast in order of appearance. Narrator Fiona Ashby. Roger Lucas Tilsley. Sam Liz Franks. Ruby Michaela Turner. Ratty Tony Holtham. Mole Helen Roberts. Badger Wayne Young. Chief Weasel Debbie Jones. Sid Michaela Turner. Willie Liz Franks. Wally India Watson. Toad Rob Davis. PC Plod Andrew Turner. Washerwoman Malcolm Lord. Jane Grace Turner. Judge Debs Watson. Jailer Lucas Tilsley. Clerk of the Court Sally Franks. Editing and effects by Malcolm Lord and Gordon McComb.
And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got